And Sierra Leone calls for an end to the war in Ukraine for the sake of humanity. Greetings, dear viewers. This is ETV News. With the news, I'm Shfar Alakom. Now, President Sahle-Work Zewde says Ethiopia is committed to strengthening multifaceted cooperation with Colombia. President Sahle-Work and the Vice President of Colombia, Francia Marquez, have discussed ways of strengthening bilateral cooperation of mutual concern. Shagai Matao reports.
Vice President Francia Marquez discussed with Ethiopian President Sahle-Work Zewde on ways to strengthen cooperation with Ethiopia. Sahle-Work appreciated the Vice President's visit to Ethiopia as it bolsters the economic, political and other spheres of the two countries.
የመጀመሪያዋ ሴት ናቸው ከአፍሪካ የተወለዱ.
I'm pleased with the visit of the Colombian Vice President to Ethiopia. She is the first black African origin to be the Vice President of Colombia. This is historic not only for Colombia but also for Ethiopia and Africa. Her position as Women Vice President is significant to promote women empowerment in Africa. Latin American countries are the sixth target region of the African Union.
ሪጅን ነው ለአፍሪካ ህብረት እና የኛ ናቸው ብለን ነው የምናስበው.
Colombia's Vice President Francia Marquez for her part indicated that her visit is aimed at reconstructing and establishing new cultural, economic, political and social ties among others with Ethiopia.
Bueno, esta ha sido una visita muy.
This is of course a very important trip for us. It is a historic reconnection with the land of our ancestors. We are here in search of reconstructing and establishing new cultural, economic, political and social ties to work on topics related to the empowerment of women, for example. And this reconnection between our two continents is also closely related to the similar histories that we share. And this is, of course, looking towards the future, a future of peace as two nations who have known a conflict and who are now striving for greater peace.
Encontrar caminos de paz.
The Vice President of Colombia is on an official tour in Ethiopia after visiting South Africa and Kenya.
In another development, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed met and held a discussion with the Vice President of Colombia, Francia Marquez. The Prime Minister underscored that both Ethiopia and Colombia will work to strengthen bilateral ties. He also believes that the two countries will explore opportunities for collaboration in various areas. The Colombian Vice President started her working visit to Ethiopia, holding discussions with the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Demeke Mekonnen, and other high-level federal government officials. Demeke told the Vice President that Ethiopia is interested in cooperation with Colombia in the fields of trade, investment, tourism, aviation, and technology. He expressed his appreciation for Colombia's decision to reopen its embassy in Ethiopia after 50 years, reminding that the two countries have similar experience in international forum. The Colombian Vice President, Francia Marquez, stated that one of the reasons for Colombia's reopening its embassy in Ethiopia is that Ethiopia's strong influence in Africa and the region. She also pointed out that the decision aims to improve the relationship between the two countries. She affirmed Colombia's readiness to cooperate with Ethiopia on regional and continental levels as well as on multilateral platforms.
We are here at Wondo Gannat, which is 24 kilometers away from the capital, Hawassa city. This is the right place where the natural spring water flows.
Welcome back. You're still watching this news hour. Now, rehabilitation work of health facilities that were damaged in areas where there were war and conflict has not been on the required level was disclosed. In its 20th regular session, the House of People's Representatives reviewed the 9-month performance of the Ministry of Health. Meanwhile, in the last 9 months, maternal and child health, hygiene and environmental health, health extension services, nutritional services, and services provided for communicable and non-communicable diseases were said to have performed well in the past 9 months. In order to improve the delivery of medical services, new trial applications have been started in 38 hospitals that will increase the quality of medical services, it was disclosed. Now, the Ministerial Cabinet started evaluating the overall macroeconomic quarterly performance in the presence of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. Presenting the 9-month performance of 2015 Ethiopian fiscal year, Planning and Development Minister Fitsum Assefa said most of the plans are progressing well. She said that it was planned to collect 328 billion birr revenue in 9 months and 98% of the target has been achieved.
In the 2015 Ethiopian fiscal year, we planned to collect 328 billion birr in the 9 months, of which we have achieved 324 billion birr, or 98% of our plan. Similarly, we plan to collect 190 billion birr from domestic revenue. We have collected 191 billion birr. That means we meet 100% of our plan. We set a goal to collect 137 billion birr from custom, but we achieved 132 billion birr, that is 96% of the plan. Although we are achieving as planned, a lot remains to be done to collect additional revenue through introducing new tax policies. This will help us to narrow the gap between collected tax and economic growth. Still, tax to GDP remains at the lower level.
The minister also stated that over 2.4 million jobs have been created over the past 9 months.
We plan to create 3.12 million jobs in 9 months. During the past 9 months alone, close to 2.4 million jobs created for citizens in various sectors. The performance has reached 79% of our plan, of which over 960,000 jobs have been created in agricultural sector. It covers 39% of the total job creation. In job creation, the service sector takes the lion's share. It's about 1 million jobs. This shows the service sector is reviving and contributing to the economic development. Production and productivity is also increasing. The industry sector helps to create 20% jobs of our citizens. Our plan is progressing well despite challenges.
በስራ እድል ፈጠራው አብሮ የተያያዘ መሆኑን በደንብ ማሳያ ናቸው።
ጎሽ ቁጥር እንደ ትላንትናው አይቻለቅ ይሄው ምን ነው ያሳያለው የማገገም የዱር እንስሳቱ መጀመሪያ ከነበሩበት ከተበታተኑበት ቦታ ስብስባቸው ምን ያህል እንደሆነ የሚያሳይ ነው። ሁለተኛ ደግሞ ቦታዎቹ አጠቃላይ ተሽከርካሪ ሲተራመስ የነበረበት ቦታዎቹ በሙሉ ያገገሙበት መልሶ ያገገመበት ሳር ያኔ እንደዚህ አረንጓዴ የማናየው ሳር ሙሉ በሙሉ አረንጓዴ የሆነበት ቃጠሎም ጀምረናል። ቃጠሎም እናካሄደባቸው ሜዳማ ፓርቶችን ደግሞ ስናይ በጣም ግሪን ሆኖ ስናይ በቃ ከፍተኛ ተስፋ እንዳለን ነው የሚያሳየው።
ጎሽ በጣም ብዛት አለ። ከዚህ በፊት በጣም ብዛት ነበረ። የተለያዩ ማሽኖች ድምጽ አለ፣ መኪና ድምጽ አለ። ለዛ ነው ትንሽ እንኳን ቀንሶ ወደ ሌላ ቦታ እንዲሄድና ግማሽ ወደ ሱዳን ወጥቶ እንዲሄድ ያደረገ ያለ። በጣም ብዙ ነበር። ወመቤራ ፈርክ ያለው ቁጥር ስፍር የለም ነበር።
Welcome back. You're still watching Addis News Hour. Now, the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Males Alam, has reiterated Ethiopia's continued support to the Sudanese fleeing the fighting. In his weekly briefing, he also highlighted preparations for the upcoming celebrations of the 60th anniversary of the AU, where Pan-African values, struggles against colonialism, and aspirations for prosperous Africa under the implementation of Agenda 2063 will be highlighted. He also spoke about the maiden visit of the Vice President of Colombia, Ethiopian high-level delegation's visit to Pakistan led by State Minister Misganu Arga, and the revitalization of Ethio-Pakistani ties. Moving on, the presence of the Organization of Educational Cooperation, OEC, in the Ethiopian capital will make it easier to achieve the ideal South-South cooperation in the education sector. The remark came here yesterday at the inauguration of the headquarters of the OEC, a newly established intergovernmental organization. Kasaun Chane reports.
Latin American, Caribbean, African, Asian, Middle Eastern and Pacific Island countries came together to form the Organization of Educational Cooperation, OEC, on January 29, 2020 in Djibouti at the International Summit on Balanced and Inclusive Education. As set out by its constitutive charter, the purpose of the OEC is to contribute to the equitable, just and prosperous social transformation of societies by promoting balanced and inclusive education. During the inauguration, states emphasized support and contribution to the construction and adaptation of a third, alternative, inclusive way of development emerging through and from education.
And with that, OEC incorporates development.
The OEC Secretary General emphasized that the presence of the organization in the Ethiopian capital will make it easier to achieve the ideal South-South cooperation in the education sector. He also underlined that education is the only means by which the member states' visions for the future can be realized, as it forges and unites diversity while fostering cooperation.
The OEC has entire programs to support through our Department of Technological Innovation and Digitalization Enhancement, to support our member states in developing the necessary frameworks, the necessary policies, and launch the necessary incubators and accelerators to develop endogenous technologies, where endogenous may mean local, national, or indeed regional. And in so doing, it is our hope to see our member states collectively become drivers rather than passengers of the fourth industrial revolution. For the technologies that we import, with the rapid and exponential development of technology, will be obsolete in 3, 4, come 5 years. And this collective effort from the South to develop our technology hubs becomes all the more necessary.
The inauguration of the OEC's offices will support the government's efforts to expand the education sector and Ethiopia's partnerships with international organizations. As a member of the OEC, Ethiopia reiterated its commitment to a balanced and inclusive education.
Quality education is vital for the implementation of the Sustainable Development Agenda. Promoting inclusive and quality education requires concerted and enhanced global partnership. Hence, the creation of OEC is timely. We hope the organization would contribute to the promotion of quality and relevant education, particularly in developing countries. Government of Ethiopia has been undertaking important educational reform to ensure inclusive, quality, and accessible education to all. We are working in close partnership with domestic and international partners, acknowledging that education and human capacity building are key to achieve our national vision of holistic prosperity.
The OEC was founded in 2020 and aims to engage systematically with the human, local, national and planetary dimensions of education.
You're still watching ATV News, and thank you for being with us. Now, Foreign Minister Demeke Mekonnen had a telephone conversation with Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Saudi Arabia. The two sides exchanged views on a number of issues of mutual concern, according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They have agreed to further strengthen the bilateral relations between the two countries, including Ethiopians residing in Saudi Arabia. The conversation also included an exchange of views on the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's ongoing efforts to help the parties in Sudan reach a negotiated settlement. And now in business, the Ethiopian Airlines Cargo and Logistics Services, the largest air cargo network operator in Africa, announces that it is set to begin air cargo services to Istanbul, Turkey on May 2023. Ethiopian Cargo is one of the major strategic business units within the Ethiopian Airlines Group. It has demonstrated remarkable performance, growing in excellence and customer service each year, and it has been winning global awards for its remarkable performance and service excellence. The Ethiopian Cargo is pursuing a trajectory of ambitious growth in its mission to become among the top 20 cargo airlines globally by 2035. Now, the Ministry of Trade and Regional Integration says Ethiopia is intensifying efforts to expand its export destinations across the continent. State Minister for Trade and Regional Integration Tashale Balluhu underscored that the much-hoped AFCFTA brings new opportunities to realize its ambitions. Goshumalisa takes it from here.
Ethiopia is among the top producers and exporters of the best Arabica coffee in the world, but it's not taking advantage of the commodity's full potential in the export market due to lack of diverse export destinations. So far, Ethiopia has been following vertical export approach. According to the Ministry of Trade and Regional Integration, Ethiopia is intensifying efforts to increase its export destinations across the continent.
Ethiopia's import spending is way too higher than its revenue from exports. We are embarking on a series of promotional activities so as to expand our export destinations. The country has intensified its efforts to promote the export trade and expand destinations as per its trade balance, despite significant gaps between import and export.
Noting that bilateral talks and negotiations towards reaching most of the African countries are underway, he said the government is working aggressively to expand the export destinations both at the global and continental level. He emphasized that increasing production and productivity with quality is crucial for Ethiopia's export trade. Tashale underscored that the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement brings new opportunities to realize Ethiopia's ambition.
The FCFTA is a window of opportunity right before us for expanding Ethiopia's trade destinations across the continent. Asia, Europe and America have been Ethiopia's main export destinations. While these destinations remain crucial, the FCFTA is our wing to reach out to the continent.
Despite periods of disruption for export trade due to local and international challenges, the export trade is now reviving following the restoration of peace in the northern parts of the country, which is key to increase production and productivity, he pointed out.